Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. We also had our group, Bakugo, Mina, Kendo, and Kai. These four, they were going through a number of things. Deku and his family were brought to Ken's farm, along with Bakugo's, Mina's, and Kendo's. Kai's grandfather is currently trying to help prepare the world for the alien invasion, which is coming soon. The night before the invasion, everybody was exhausted. They spent days trying to get the farm set up and prepared for this. The world is about to face a threat it has not faced before. The first ever invasion of Earth. Deku has spent years preparing for this day. He spent years worrying about it, thinking about it, and trying to stop this prophecy. And there's a lot going on. This could go wrong. Things could go bad. He doesn't know what will happen tomorrow. No one does. As far as they're aware, life can end in a moment. It's a battlefield. These aliens are playing for their planet. And Deku, he likes his home. And he's willing to do whatever he needs to keep it. He's fairly certain he knows what the future timeline must have been like. But he doesn't want that to happen. He's aware of a lot. And him and Mina, the two, shared a night together. They made sure they had their emotions clear. It could be the last night they ever spend together. The only night they ever have. And it was nice. It was peaceful. It was lovely. These two finally made their feelings clear. And with that being said, let's currently pick up to the next morning, where Deku, he does wake up in Mina's bed. Currently, him opening his eyes and laying there for a minute, thinking about a lot. He's peaceful for 1 second. Then he does go to somewhat panic. Him going to actually somewhat turn and see Mina. Hearing nothing outside. They have time. That's on his mind. Currently, him climbing out of bed and going to get things prepared. Him walking to the next room and getting some coffee. Currently, him turning on the coffee maker as the house does begin to erupt with a bit of noise. And currently, there actually is Mina, who does lay there for a second before opening her eyes. Currently, her hearing Izuku move throughout the house. And she does think about a few things. Her mind is unsure of a lot. She's happy, just thinking about it. Though, there's also that concern nagging in her mind. Currently, her bringing her hand up. Her seeing the pink glow of her abilities. Before she does, go to lower her hand and try to think. Wondering if they'll survive. They're highly unskilled at this. Underprepared. The farm can survive. And they've got Melissa and David's ship. If they need to, they can evac the planet. And there's one thought crossing her mind. Alien X, if it appears on that battlefield, will seal the future with a coffin and a nail. It could mean Izuku seals his fate. The world will go into chaos, and sometime down the line, he'll get serious. Sometime down the line, he'll change. He'll walk away from her. She doesn't want to believe that, though. She wants to believe Izuku can remain the same, that he'll be a good person. Though, what can she really say? The future version of Izuku, he did something to those aliens. He had to save his planet. But what did he do? Did he erase them? Kill them? Destroy them? Did they retreat? Did they run? All these thoughts go across her mind. All of them scour every premise of her mind. And it does feel a little overwhelming. Currently, her going to ball herself up, bring her legs up to her chest, and trying not to panic. And Deku, he does come walking back into the room. Currently, him with a mason jar full of coffee, sugar, and milk. Him walking over to the bed and going to sit down. Him telling Mina, bringing his hand up that, hey, her looking up, seeing him. Him going to give her a bit of a smile before she doesn't calm down. And the two, they do try to get things prepared this morning. Currently, Bakugo and Kai, the two having their own situation occur. Them waking up and trying to think about last night. Since to them, they talked a little bit. And then they just let the drinks flow in the night, move on. He thought about taking his car for a spin, putting it through its paces, maybe even pushing that throttle a little bit. Though Kai, yeah, she wasn't letting his dumbass go anywhere. She made sure of it. Now, everyone, they do go to get active this morning. And we do currently have Ken, who does gonna pull up to the farmhouse a little bit later. Currently, him gonna step through the front door and seeing everybody, hearing the commotion in the next room. And currently, there actually is where Ken, David, Melissa, and Kendo do come into the house. Them trying to at least figure out what the hell is going on. And Deku, he does get a turn. Currently, him cooking up some breakfast, talking about it, telling Gramps that they were just trying to, well, you know, relax their nerves before the final battle. Right. And how did that go? It went fine. Last night we just had a few drinks. That was all. Right. I'll take your word for it. So, I was gonna call you for breakfast, but you weren't in your room. Sorry. No worries, Izuku. I don't blame you. I understand. Though a heads up would have been nice. Had us panicked for a minute there. Checked the barn, didn't find anything. Checked the ship, it was still there. Thought you might have taken the fight to them for a minute. Let's worry about that later, Grandpa. Deku walking over. Currently, him setting down a plate, as Mina does a turn. Her standing up and going to help Izuku. Currently, him going to express, sitting at this table, about how right now they're going to have time for breakfast. Besides, they've got a whole crazy day ahead of them. And they're actually just Kendo, who does somewhat sit there, seeing Izuku relaxed, his nerves calm, and he does this give a glance at Mina. Currently, her giving a bit of a smile, before bringing her hand out and somewhat grabbing onto Deku's. Her watching how the two are acting a bit. And this, it does annoy her. She and Izuku talked, and she wants to be mature about this, but I mean, how is she supposed to say anything Earth's on the line, and that seems more important. Though, can she really be a part of his crazy life? This is going through her head, and currently there is about half a second later, where Asmith, he does not appear on the table. Currently, Professor Paradox going to manifest. Him going to turn, walking over, and grabbing the pot of coffee. Asmith going to express. They have a bit of a situation going on. Right now, Galvin Prime. It's been attacked by the hybrid. And Deku, he does a look up from his plate of eggs, sausage, and some pancakes. Currently, him going to look at Asmith before talking about it. That's not good. Quite. Listen, we have to be prepared. Earth is dealing with an imminent invasion force. Do you understand? I do. Yeah. Currently, I'm going to turn, seeing Ken. Before, he was a nod and asking the old man exactly how he's been doing. He heard that the man was supposed to be dead. I'm fine. Got better. Besides, more important things at the moment. Quite right, quite right. This is the Time Walker. Deku turning. Him telling his grandfather. This is Professor Paradox. Apparently, they know each other somehow. And he met him a while back. Currently, the old man gonna wave. And Paradox, he doesn't pour a cup of coffee, expressing, walking over. Right. Right now, they have a few things to deal with. It's gonna be complicated, but he does have the exact time of the invasion. It's gonna be starting at about 6 o'clock tonight. And the area they do have, well, it's correct. They need to head there soon. The hybrids do plan to invade whenever the clock and sun do align, whenever it's coldest, and when the sun is no longer in the sky. That sounds bad. Yes, it is, Izuku. However, I'm sure you can handle it. You are not alone. And you have prepared for this for a while. I have? Thanks. Yes, yes. Besides, if necessary, well, sorry. I don't believe that is an option. I think that might be a spoiler. Besides, I could get into trouble for that. Paradox, bring up the cup of coffee before beginning to drink it down, expressing to them. He'll see them in a minute, bring up his watch, and going to vanish. And currently Ken would turn back to Izuku, him mouthing, "What the fuck?" to his grandson. And Deku, he has his own nod, turning back to his own cup of coffee and going to have a sip. Now, this is quite surprising. And currently, there actually is where everyone, they do try to get strategies prepared, along with actually heading to the area. They have a lot to do, but there currently is Asmith, who does to express to Izuku whenever he does to head onto the ship about the situation. Right now, the Omnitrix is the only thing that can help the universe in case of a mass extinction. There are over 1 million DNA samples inside that watch. And him running gun-ho into a fight? It's not an option. Deku, if he does decide to do this, he may very well participate in committing a galactic-wide genocide if the hybrids conquer his planet. No, when they conquer his planet. And Deku does look at Asmith. Him a bit annoyed. Him telling the old cranky Galvin. Right now, he wants him to know. This is bigger than just his planet. Asmith might think his weapon of... No. No, he'll just flat out say it. The Omnitrix was supposed to be a weapon he made for peace, but everything people can think of makes it a better goddamn weapon. And Azimuth does stare at Deku, him narrowing his eyes for a minute, expressing to Izuku he needs to watch what he says to him. No, I'm not. Listen, Azimuth, I've tried to play things on your terms. We both know what's at stake here. If my planet loses, then I lose. You're saying I shouldn't go out there? I've made it quite clear to you in everything I've tried to explain, but you don't listen to me. I don't care how smart you are. You say you're the smartest in 5 galaxies, but I had to point out this device could be used to commit a worldwide genocide in less than a minute, if modified correctly. You don't think of the repercussions of your own creations. Asma's staring at Deku, and that one cuts a little deep. A sharp edge to that one. And Deku stares at the old Galvin, expressing him bring up the Omnitrix. He's tried to play things on his terms, and saying he's not doing this? No, he'll tell him. Either he tries to stop him, or he does what he can to take control of the Omnitrix right now. He's had a few ideas. He's played by his rules. And this is enough. Today is the day of an invasion. Either he helps him, or he tries to stop him. He's with him or against him. If he's not going to help, then leave the planet. Or he could teleport him away. But at the same time, he's already aware of what Jetray can do. That little programming inside the watch is pretty useful, especially when it basically gives him a crash course in the alien's abilities. And Azimuth stares up at Deku. And Deku, he does bring his hand up, him typing onto the buttons, as currently he doesn't see an alien. And this, it does tell Azimuth everything he needs to know. Him thinking about it for 1 second. I can't stop you, can I? No. You can't convince me either. So, we both know already what you're going to tell me, don't we? How about we both save some time? Deku lowering the watch. And Azimuth, he does hate Izuku sometimes. The boy is reasonable, but when he's not, he makes a good point. And this does annoy him. Currently him going to do one simple thing. Giving Deku access to master control. And Deku, when this is going to happen, he doesn't bring his hand up. Currently him opening it up and then going to somewhat think for a minute about what might happen. And Deku, he currently does a turn into an alien. Him going to stand there as he does feel good. Listen, Izuku. What I've just done is giving you unrestricted access. Once the invasion is over, we'll talk. We'll see what we'll do about that. I might have to reconsider some things. Listen, let's get through this first. Might not want to think about losing this thing while I'm saving the universe. They're turning back to a human and giving Azimuth a bit of a smile. And the man, he can tell the obvious fake vibrato in front of him. Him gonna turn, expressing to the boy that he really should come back alive. He would like to see his device used for peace. And Deku does understand. Walking onto the ship. Currently, it going to head off. And right now things, they are prepared. Deku, he does sit there, looking down at the Omnitrix. 1 million. That number, Azimuth said. I mean, his future self. 10,000. 10 freaking thousand. That's not even. I mean, that's 1% of the Omnitrix, right? He's only scratched the surface of it? And that's. Honestly, no pressure. No pressure at all. Okay, okay. Think, Zuko. Just think. Deku turned into gray matter. Currently, the small alien sitting there in the chair. And Deku, he would bring his hand up. Currently, him a bit annoyed. Before trying to think about how he would like to be normal again. Turning back into a human. And Bakugo does get a turn, asking him if he's alright, or if that's gonna be a whole thing right now. I'm fine. It's not the randomizer. Listen. I just. Nerves. Right. Him turning and telling Deku, they got this. Besides, if they don't win, then where else is he gonna keep his stuff? And Deku, he has his own smile. Bakugo going to turn back forwards. Him trying his best to keep his nerves in check. He's learned how to manage his attitude. He's learned how to keep a cool head. Or at the very least, show off he might be that way. Though on the inside, he's scared shitless. And right now, there actually is at the alien base, where the ship, it does go to arrive. Them landing and trying to get more things prepared. Currently, Deku turning his head and seeing another ship going to land. The plumber's helpers beginning to step out, expressing to them about how they've brought the arsenal that they could, and about how they've gotten everything that Magister Kentaro requested. And Deku, hearing this, does get a turn to Pierce, him even turning to Alan. And Alan, he has a step out, currently him bringing his hands up and giving him a bit of a thumbs up, a fiery hand showing this off. And Deku nods to him. Before we're going to turn, trying to inform everybody about what they've got to do. They've got to do this before the invasion does happen. When the sun goes down and the clock strikes 6, that means those portals are going to open. So, they need to be aware. If they do try to attack, they might try to open the portals early. And there actually is Ken, who does express, bringing his hand up to his grandson, about how maybe he should let him do the briefing. And Deku, here's a turn, staring at his grandfather, who does give him a bit of a look. Him nodding his head, as the old man does step in and take charge a bit, telling them all. Right now they've got a bit of a situation. At 6 o'clock sharp, the sun will be completely out of sight. The temperature goes down, and those things they've been trying to step on their planet, they will try to open a portal. And when they do that, they'll try and turn the entire planet into a winter wonderland to survive for their species. They'll take what they want and harm who they want. As far as they're aware, those things, the ones who've been taken over, they may not be human anymore. Not entirely. They can be healed, but the process, they know nothing about. As far as they're aware, they've seen it one time, and it might be too much of a risk to try. Him turned to his grandson, and Deku does this to his grandfather. The old man basically telling Izuku what not to do. Not to risk the watch this way. It might be powerful, but even then, limitless does not exist. And the man, he does a turn, expressing to everybody they need to do this fast, and they need to make sure they can take out what they can and do what they can. A small team is going to head in, take control of the command center, and once that's done, they will begin their attack. They need a distraction right now. And Deku, he doesn't bring his hand up, talking about what he can do. And everyone, they do begin to understand, breaking up into a bit of teams. And we do currently have Deku, who currently does go to express. Right now, he does have a plan. Currently, him going to turn directly in to accelerate, telling everyone what they're going to do is simple. They're going to run in. He'll clear a path, and then Helen will take them to the command center. She'll bring in Mina. Then she'll bring in Bakugo. She'll take in who she can, as much as she can, as fast as possible. Once the path is cleared, he can take on the Hyper Commanders, and make sure that all of this can be said and done simply. They need to take out the command center first. Otherwise, the world is going to be in a whole lot of danger. And Helen would turn, nodding her head as Alan does get a step up, asking about what exactly his role might be. Simple. Cause a bit of distraction. The DNA aliens and the hybrids, they don't know we're here. Grandpa died months back. Along with us. Everyone on the station died. The aliens don't know we're a massive group. Ken turned to Izuku, and goes on smile, since that is an accurate assumption. When that satellite came down, it came down like a raining hellfire. It is an accurate statement. People should not have survived that. Normal people. But a superior species would obviously underestimate his grandson. And this means a bit. Currently, him goes out stand there proud. The boy's grown up. A lot more than he would like to, but he grew up. And Deku, here's a turn. Currently him expressing about the plan. Take the command center, and after that, they get to work. Clearing out the aliens that they can. And we do currently have Deku, who does a turn looking at Helen. Him nodding his head as she's going to bring up her hands, expressing about how she's ready for the plan. And we do get to inside the dome, where it currently is snowing. And the aliens, they are continuing for their big day. Since this backwater planet is finally going to know the rule of a superior species. And they have quite a lot in store for it. Along with this, will put their galactic empire back in the stars. They will fix their problems. They will be superior once more. And they will not have to worry about these defects their species suffer from. Now, we do actually have Deku, who currently does stand there. Him with his fingers currently on the ground and turning to Helen. Her nodding her head as Deku does get turned back. Him racing forwards everyone as it watches to disappear into a blue blur. Currently Deku running into the dome and bringing his hands up. Him looking around and going to move. Currently, him bringing his hands up and grabbing onto pieces of equipment. Him tossing them through the air as Ren Deku, those are moving slowly. Him bringing his hand up and turning. Him smashing his fist into an alien as he does go grab the thing they're currently moving. Him throwing it up forwards as he is a turn. And Helen, she currently is moving in. Her ducking her head underneath something as she is carrying Ken and Mina. And Deku, he does a turn, him bolting fast. And the two, they do continue to run, Currently, Deku makes his way to the command center and going to stop for a minute. Currently, Helen going to do the exact same. And Mina, whenever she does actually turn, she just doesn't sit there for a minute. Her shaking her head as Ken, he has to bring his hand up. Him coughing into his fist before going to presumably swallow his breakfast again. Looking up and seeing the situation. Him going to turn to Mina. And Mina was going to bring her hands up. Her going to create constructs as they would grab her into the door and begin to force it open. Currently, it's going to be forced open enough as Deku, he has a turn. Him telling them about how he's got this. Turning currently directly into Heat Blast. Bringing his hands up and grabbing into the middle of the door. Before he does begin to melt into it, and the metals, they do begin to pour into the ground. Him going to turn directly into a big chill as he does go fly upwards. Him blasting down and then going to turn. Telling them, if they can handle it from here, he's got to get to work. And they do get his own turn, nodding at Izuku. And their actions were Ken, he has it a head in. Helen bring up her fist before she's going to turn, bolting off to get back up, since it's going to take more than them to take on the hybrid that might be here. And there currently is where the camp, it does begin to have alerts go off. Currently Alan flying through the air on a fireball, bringing his hands up and smashing down massive amounts of them onto the ground. And there currently is Manny, who he has come to head in and begin to blast out directly at some of the DNA aliens. And this does catch the hybrid's attention, since right now Deku, he's not being seen. And the aliens, they do perceive this right now as an effortless attack, since all they have to do is activate a few things, activate a few protocols. And there currently is a turn. Hearing something smash onto the ground and turning as they go to see what is that device. It's going to explode. The alien flying backwards and smashing directly into the monitor before it does begin to start cracking up and breaking. And Ken would bring his hands up, currently him blasting out blasters directly at the DNA aliens as Mina would move forwards. Bring her hands up and going to grab many of them up in devices to restrain them. Her bring them into the air and smashing all of them together. Before Ken, he has to stand there. And Bakugo, he has to arrive. Currently him standing there and bringing his hand down. Grabbing some of the metal and going to fully stand back up. Before going to crack his neck and look at the commander in front of him. Him talking about it, bringing his fist up and making them larger. Him and the old man might be able to handle this. Mina needs to make sure to head outside. You sure? As far as we know, they're endless, right? There's thousands of them here. Outside. We can't be overwhelmed. Cover us. Right. Her turning. Before we're going to stop. Telling Bakugo, good luck. And he does go to stand there, making his fist covered in spikes. Before she had to turn and run down the stairwell. Her bring her hands up and going to send out blasts directly at some of the aliens. And we do currently cut to Izuku outside, who does float there in the air. It's cold, though he can't feel a thing. Him flying down and currently smashing out into the battlefield and going to stand back up. Him as Wrath. And Wrath, he's got to tell you something. He doesn't appreciate when people like the DNA aliens or the hybrid commanders come here to invade his planet. And currently some of the aliens do a turn. Them begin to send up blaster fire directing to Wrath. And Deku, here's a run forwards. Currently the main man shifting directly into Cannonbolt. Cannonbolt smashing into the crowd of DNA aliens. The goo they do to fire sticking onto his armor as the ball does continue to roll through the crowd. And Deku, he does then going to turn. Currently, him turning the big shield and beginning to freeze in the crowd members before he does going to turn directly into forearms. Him smashing down and going to get back up. Before grabbing many of them, he's going to spin around. Currently Deku throwing out fists and punches. Before he's going to take a blaster shot to the back, and then going to do one thing. Him being overwhelmed, we're going to turn into Chromastone. Deku throwing his hands down and blasting up into the air. Him flying upwards as aliens are continuing to blast directly at him. And this is where Deku hears a smash down. Him going to get back up as he's beginning to take blaster fire after blaster fire. And Izuku, he does begin to feel the power swelling in his body. Him turning his hands and going to throw them upwards. Him blasting in every single direction around him. And currently, some people are watching this. And we do actually have David, Shield, and Melissa. Currently, Melissa flying through the air on a jetpack and looking down below. Watching right now the battle going to ensue. And there currently is Alan, who does fly overhead and try and smash down with fireballs as much as possible. And we do currently cut to inside, where the Dean aliens, they are trying their best. They're following orders. And like I said before, there are thousands of them. Though it's not just the aliens they're going to have a problem with. As currently, there is the Hybrid Commander in Bakugo. Currently, he's going to turn to Ken, telling him he might want to work his plumber magic, because otherwise, this is going to be a whole lot more than just him dealing with this thing. Besides, there's probably about, a ton of them here? And Ken will go to express. He's right about that. How much time can he buy him, though? How much time do you need? How much do you have in you? I'm going to rush forwards. And currently the Hybrid Commander doesn't move forwards as well. Him rushing towards Ken's Bakugo with a slide in front of the way, bringing his hand up and uppercutting the Commander. And this thing, it does, going to bring its hands down, smash onto his Bakugo, as Bakugo, here's a dodge, watching the dent form in the floor. Him currently going to roll, as right now, he has to get back onto his feet. Him rushing forwards. And we do currently have Deku, who, he has to stand in this chromosome. Currently, his hands going to stop glowing. As he does, begin to see commanders begin to walk up. And this, it does have him concerned. In front of him stands 3 hybrid commanders. 3 of a quote-unquote superior species. And Deku, he has to transform. Currently him staying there as a hybrid commander himself. And all of them look on with utter disgust, because he is a mockery of their species. And Deku, he does it to bring his own hands up, ready for this. He's spent years thinking about how to defend this planet, and now he's not going to stop, even if it kills him. And we do currently have Mina, who, she is throwing her own blast, her throwing her hands up and saying the incantation that is to send them flying in a bit of a hailstorm. Or not hailstorm, a bit of a windstorm. The small tornado carrying people away. And Mina will get a turn, bring her hands up and going to blast out her own attack. Her watching as the construct is up, shove people backwards before she's going to feel resistance. Her holding her hands up as it does a shake. Before somebody bring their hands down onto it and climb over. Them going to stand there as Mina stares at another commander. And that's not right. Her turning her head and currently seeing another commander climb over another one of the barriers she created. It stepping onto the lesser creature that is a DNA alien before beginning to move forward towards her. And Mina does get a little bit more concerned. Currently her bringing her own hands up and trying to think about her own abilities. Her eyes going to somewhat glow. A lot more aware of what she's fighting for. Everybody here knows what's going down. Everybody here knows what is exactly at stake. And this would have said the fate of their planet. Now, with that being said, I do hate to hang on. I do hate to leave off on a bit of a cliffhanger, but this is going to be a very big battle. I've been building up to this for a while, and I want to make it special. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm coming down with something because my throat does not feel very good right now.